What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Evan and I make videos about hot stocks, dividends, and options. So if that interests you guys, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss when I upload. So in today's video, we're going to go over whether NIO is in a bubble right now and if their share price could drop in the near future or whether they're going to continue going up. And I'm also going to go over some key points that you need to know if you're going to invest in NIO at this high share price. But before we get into the video, if you guys wouldn't mind going down and hitting the like button to let me know that you guys enjoy these NIO updates, then I'll know to continue updating you guys on NIO as we move forward. So make sure you go and hit the like button down below. Also, if you guys haven't signed up for Webull, I know you guys have probably heard this 1,000 times, but this promotion that they're having right now ends at the end of the month. So make sure you sign up using the link in the description and you'll get 2 free stocks, both worth between $8 and $1,600. All you have to do is sign up and deposit $100 and you'll get your 2 free stocks. But with that out of the way, you can see today NIO is down 2%, which I think was somewhat expected because last week they were up so much and every day was a green day last week. So I think it's good to see them pull back a little bit. Personally, last Friday, I was expecting NIO to pull back quite a bit more on open this morning, which is Monday. I was somewhat expecting them to be a little bit closer to $26, but looking at the 1 week chart, they're up 28%, obviously because of that big spike from that analyst at JP Morgan upgrading NIO to a $40 price target. But you can see NIO is forming a pretty good support line between $27 and $28. I just expected them to pull back a little bit more, maybe a little bit closer below 27 and maybe closer to $26, but it looks like that didn't quite happen. And part of the reason that I think they didn't quite pull back much this morning is because there's still a lot of options traders investing in NIO and buying calls for NIO expiring this Friday. And I mentioned that last week as well. And I think that was part of the reason why NIO got inflated so high last week, because there was a lot of options traders buying calls expiring last Friday. And in last Friday's video, I explained how those options traders can really influence the price, especially when they buy millions of dollars worth of calls. They'll just buy in on these calls. Once their calls go up, they'll secure a profit, and then NIO's share price theoretically would drop. But it looks like that hasn't really happened yet. So I'm thinking there's still a lot of options traders from last week investing in NIO and buying calls expiring this week and in the coming few weeks. But like I've said before, I think NIO is slightly overpriced right now because NIO had somewhere around a 20% increase in just one day. And I think that's somewhat unhealthy for a stock to see. And now they've just been trading higher and higher since that upwards trend and that big spike they had. Even though they are forming support around $27 and $28, I think right now a lot of people still see it as slightly unhealthy for NIO's share price. So now we're going to go over whether NIO is in a bubble right now or if they're potentially progressing towards being in a bubble. That could potentially pop at any time and then you'll see NIO's share price drop. So that's what we're going to go over now. So one of the main reasons actually why NIO is up so much and why they're actually becoming successful in the EV market space is because electric vehicles are very simple in comparison to a combustion engine. So previously, Chinese automotive makers have tried to compete with Japanese and Korean automakers, but they've almost always been met with failure. Now, when they get into the EV space, that's a whole different story because electric vehicles have way less moving parts. And when you take out all these parts for a combustion engine, you're pretty much just left with the fundamentals of a vehicle. And one of the main parts is just the lithium-ion battery pack. And so if you can figure out how to make a reliable battery pack, you can pretty much be successful in the electric vehicle space. Granted, you have to have people buying your vehicles, but that's another advantage NIO has is that they're in China, where there's 1.4 billion people, so they're in the biggest market in the world. But later on, we're going to get into why NIO could potentially slow down and possibly why they could fall farther behind Tesla. But we'll go over that a little bit later. And something that sets NIO apart from other EV makers is their design of their vehicles and just the luxurious aspect of a NIO vehicle. Now, a lot of people look at a NIO vehicle and they think that it's very high end. But part of the reason why NIO is able to build these luxurious vehicles is because they aren't creating combustion engine vehicles. because if you take out the most difficult part of building a vehicle, which is the engine, in a combustion engine vehicle, then you can focus more heavily on design and the attractiveness of your vehicles. Another thing is being able to focus on different technologies in your vehicle, like the Navigate on Pilot that NIO has. Navigate on Pilot is just like autopilot in Teslas, where it uses sensors and cameras to look at the road, and it can keep you in your lane, and possibly in the future, these vehicles will be full self-driving. Now, for those of you who know about Teslas have the ability to be full self-driving right now. It could just be launched over an update, but there's no laws or regulations allowing Tesla vehicles to be driverless. But I think once something like that gets approved, we're going to see Tesla vehicles driving themselves and being like robo-taxis. And I think the same thing could happen for NIO over in China. But it's hard to say. I don't know what their rules and regulations are over there. And they don't have nearly the data that Tesla has to improve their self-driving. But it's another thing to give NIO an advantage, especially over other companies like Li Auto and XPeng. But even with all these technologies and these things going for NIO, even like NIO right now, they're supported by the government in China, and the Chinese government wants electric vehicles to succeed. They want to reduce emissions because a lot of you guys probably know that there's a lot of pollution over in China, and a lot of people wear masks just for the pollution, not even because of sicknesses or illnesses. It's just because there's so much pollution in the air. So obviously the government is going to want to support something that can reduce emissions and pollution. But regardless of these things, people still think NIO could be in a bubble. They're up 655% year to date. So it's really a fair argument to say that they could be in a bubble or on their way to a bubble, which then people would be worried that they're going to pop soon, and then the price would drop drastically. But I don't think we're going to see anything like that, any big drops, at least not for a while, because if people are relying on these analysts, especially these new price targets, I don't think we're going to see big drops until we surpass these price targets, and then we might see NIO pull back to the price target that was originally set. So for example, if NIO continued going up, and in the next few months they went all the way up to like $55, well then people might think NIO is in a bubble, and they might start panic selling, thinking it's too high, and then we could see NIO pull back all the way to this $40 price target. So I think that's something that could realistically happen, especially if NIO continues going up too quickly. But right now, I wouldn't be too worried. I don't think NIO is going to pop soon. I think if they continue going up too fast, they could pop. But for anybody investing in NIO, especially if you bought in recently around $27 or $28, you should expect that your money could lose a little value in the short term. NIO in a healthy market should pull back. Like today, they're down around 2%. I would figure on NIO pulling back here and there, and they could even pull back to $25 or possibly even $21 where they had support. So I just wouldn't panic if you bought in and NIO drops. When you buy stocks, most of the time you should be buying long term. Unless you're a swing trader or day trader, the plan should be to hold long term, so you shouldn't be worried about short term losses. If you do lose money, that's just a good time to average in and buy more shares at a lower price than your average cost. And if you haven't invested in NIO yet, I would suggest just dollar cost averaging in and setting aside a certain amount of money every week or every month and buying as many shares as you can with that set amount of money. Then you'll be getting the average share price of NIO over an extended period of time, rather than possibly buying at the top of NIO's share price and then it drops and you lose money. But even if NIO is in a bubble right now, or even just the electric vehicle market as a whole, long term, there shouldn't be a bubble for this. This whole sector should increase and go up pretty much indefinitely, especially until electric vehicles are the standard for transportation. Because throughout the world, there's new charging infrastructure being built all the time, which is going to make the transition from combustion engine vehicles to electric vehicles much easier. I mean, over in the US right now, pretty much wherever you are, you see a Tesla vehicle all the time. So pretty soon, electric vehicles are going to be the standard for transportation, and so that would lead to the overall market increasing in value. And even if NIO isn't in the US and they're still in China, their share price is going to increase as well, along with Tesla and other EV companies in the US. Now here's a little comparison of NIO to Sony. Back in 1999, Sony went from $38 up to $66. Now, this isn't really anything compared to NIO because NIO actually went from 327 up to 2807 between May and October, but Sony ended up hitting $140 before they fell back down. And the comparison here is because NIO had an extremely strong correlation with Sony back in 1999. Now, I don't think this is a fair comparison because you're comparing Sony before the year 2000 even to an electric vehicle company in 2020. So I don't think it's really a fair comparison, but I can see what they're saying here, how NIO could drop a lot if they shoot up too high. And that's true for any stock. I think anybody should be skeptical if a stock continues skyrocketing pretty much indefinitely. And I'm not talking just an upwards trend, I mean large price increases like we saw last week. If they continued doing that, then I would get skeptical. But earlier how I mentioned that people might not buy NIO vehicles as commonly in China as Tesla vehicles is actually because the income in China is pretty low according to their GDP per capita. So in Beijing, China, the GDP per capita is roughly $25,000. So if you think about this in comparison to NIO versus Tesla, NIO vehicles are approximately $54,000 before subsidies. And if you compare this to the Tesla Model 3, it starts at around $35,000. So I think for people buying electric vehicles in China, obviously they're going to go with the car that's quite substantially cheaper. Now you can also take into consideration that NIO has their battery as a service, and so you rent the battery per month or lease it or whatever you want to say for $141 per month. And so you save about $10,000 on the price of the vehicle up front. But that still puts the average price of like an EC6 at $44,000 as compared to $35,000 for a Tesla Model 3. So Tesla is targeting their vehicles towards high-income people as well as lower-income people because the GDP per capita in Los Angeles is about $69,000. So this is almost 3 times that of Beijing, China, and yet a Tesla Model 3 starts at $35,000. So even a Tesla vehicle is more expensive than the average income in Beijing. So I think especially in the short term, unless NIO can reduce their prices even more, Tesla is going to continue being the top of the line and the go-to electric vehicle. Now, some people argue they're not as high quality, but I think people are going to buy the cheaper vehicle. Theoretically, even if it is worse, they're going to buy it because they can afford it. They're not going to buy a vehicle that's twice their yearly income. I mean, even paying 1.5 times your income is pretty ridiculous. So even a Tesla vehicle is out of their price range, but it's more realistic than $54,000, or around $44,000 if you do the battery as a service. So with all this said, I think NIO right now is still at a pretty realistic price because long term, like I said, the EV market is going to go up substantially. Once electric vehicles become the standard and people want to reduce pollution and emissions, electric vehicle sales for all electric vehicle companies are going to take off, and we're going to see electric vehicles all the time. So it's pretty much just a matter of time, but I think for NIO to succeed, especially to compete with Tesla in China, they need to do something to make more money because it's going to be hard to get a lot of customers when their price is drastically higher than a Tesla vehicle. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments. Do you think NIO is in a bubble right now, or do you think they're going to continue going up? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Also, like I mentioned earlier, if you guys haven't signed up for Webull, sign up using the link in the description and deposit $100 to get your 2 free stocks. And if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button because it really does help out the channel. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you back here in the next one. Bye.